The Jolt. This is The Jolt with Larry Flick on SiriusXM OutQ.
Can't get enough of that song. That is Jukebox the Ghost with Postcard. It is just nearly 5 past the hour. I'm Larry Flick, and Hurricanes Dina Delicious and Sergio Kletnoy have left the building, but we still have more fun and information and music, and we're really glad you're joining us for The Jolt. I'm Larry Flick. I said that already, though, didn't I? You're on SiriusXM. How cute. It always takes a minute to normalize after Dina and Sergio have been here. Poor Keith. He always feels it harder for some reason.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but they're good.
I was ready for it today, though.
They're wonderful. And so Dina is going to come in on Monday as we examine the ramifications of what we anticipate to be a pretty explosive interview between Diane Sawyer and Bruce Jenner. So she'll be here for part of the second and third hours of our show to talk about it, because for all the silliness that Dina enjoys, she's also a very serious artist, and she's also a very serious activist on behalf of transgender women. She's really family. There's no other way to describe her other than family. So we love her so much. So I'm really pleased that she's willing to come in and talk with us about that. Right now, speaking of family, how many years have we known Andrea Donsky of NaturallySavvy.com? It's like going in like the 8 or 9 year realm, isn't it?
We have been family for a long time.
Yep. It's great. And you are obviously ageless because natural living keeps you young.
Thank you.
Andrea Donsky visiting with us in the studio. What's going on? How are you doing?
I miss you guys. I listen to you guys, and I miss you, and I have not been to New York in over a year. So.
I know.
Wow.
I'm happy to be back with you.
You picked good day to be here, too. The weather's nice for a change. It's been a cold, hard winter here. But she lives in Toronto, so...
I was going to say, my violin is not going on for you guys. Being up in Canada, it's been a cold winter. It's been tough.
It's been tough. It's been tough.
Lots of vitamin D, making sure I'm taking lots of vitamin D.
So it feels like more and more everyday people are becoming more aware of the products they buy, the way they live their lives. Is that fair? Is that accurate? Do you think people are more engaged now than they were even a year ago?
I think they are. I think people are becoming more aware of themselves, the environment. It was Earth Day yesterday.
Yeah.
Organic, what's around them. And I do think people are starting to wake up. I think that's a good way to say it.
Why now? Why not 2 years ago?
Well, I think that the world is changing. I think people want to live healthier. I think that, the more awareness is being brought, especially to subjects like GMOs, genetically modified organisms. I mean, that's really come to the forefront in the last couple of years, and with the whole Prop 37, and it's been on the ballot for a few times. So I think people are kind of asking questions like, what's going on? What's a GMO? What's organic? Is it better for me? Is it not? Wait a second. I see it at my local grocery store now.
Yeah.
I've never really seen it before. So people are becoming more aware because of what's around them, but also that, they want to live healthy lives.
It's so fascinating to go shopping now. I mean, ever since we've met you, you kind of like follow me on my shoulder when I go shopping, but I feel like there's a change. Even I go to like a local ShopRite, and even a place like that, which is meant to be more economical, more for lower and middle class people, which is not the Whole Foods audience, for example. Even a ShopRite is becoming more organic in the way it approaches its clientele, and
I think people are asking for it, and that's probably why. I think people are coming in and saying, wait a second, I'd love to be able to buy this product here or this product that doesn't have all these chemical additives. And I want to keep those away from me, right? I know they can lead to cancer or heart disease or diabetes or whatever it is. And it's like, I want these better for you products. Can you bring them in? So I think consumers are requesting it. And I think retailers are also, they know that, first of all, there's probably higher margins on these products. So they bring them in because of that. But also I think they want to cater to their customers, and they want to be able to provide them with things that they want.
Very, very interesting. Is there one area that is really, I mean, obviously people are a little bit more interested in food than cleaning products, but is there any one area that's really exploding in interest?
Well, I think we've talked about this before, but from my research, what I've realized is that people generally come into this industry or start to want to live a healthier lifestyle because for two reasons. One is they have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So people want to feed their babies healthier items, even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes healthier than what they're giving themselves. And two, because they have to. They have an illness or something happens to them and they're like, wait, it's a wake-up call, right? Like,
Right.
oh, wow, I really should be looking about, what I'm eating or what I'm putting in my body. So
Right.
food is generally the first place that people come into it. I think, cleaning products, clothing, those are kind of secondary, but
Right.
food and supplements, I'd say, are those are the areas that people really kind of, when they're first entering this industry. Again, this is my experience. People might have
Yeah.
a different opinion,
Yeah.
but what I've seen from the research, I've been in this industry for 15 years. From what I've seen, it's always food and supplements are the first point of entry.
And the thing that you need to remember about naturallysavvy.com is that it's not a sales site. It's an advocacy site, and it's a site that kind of does the vetting for the common person, and it gives a lot of information. It's educational and it's helpful, useful. There's a lot to learn, and it does endorse and debunk companies, but not based on money, but based on consumer advocacy.
Yeah, for us, it's about education. I mean, we definitely work with sponsors. I mean, that's how we stay alive.
Yeah.
And for me, it's about working with companies that, from behind the scenes too, I mean, obviously they have to have really great products. They have to have non-GMO or organic products. So we become very strict with the companies that we do work with.
Right.
So we want their products to be of top quality.
Right.
We do vet them, and we work with amazing brands, but also the people behind the brands are amazing. Their stories are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like to surround ourselves with people and companies that feel good for us.
Are there? There are some companies that are going from strength to strength, like Barbara's, which I go to ShopRite and there's a whole shelf of nothing but Barbara products.
They just most of their SKUs went non-GMO this year. So the last couple of years, they've really focused hard on bringing the genetically engineered ingredients out of their foods. You guys familiar with GMOs? Do you want me to give you like a quick kind of
Remind
what is a
people,
GMO?
just because you never know who might be hearing you for the first time. So
Sure.
give them that information.
So a GMO is basically when you take the DNA of one thing from a bacteria or a virus,
Mm-hmm.
and you splice it with the DNA from something else. In this case, let's call it a food.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically create something that wouldn't normally exist in nature. So some things that are very, probably well known, you guys might have heard of, is Roundup Ready corn or soy. So there are top, let's say 5 for the sake of this conversation, crops that are genetically engineered. And in the U.S. and Canada, things like soy and canola and corn, these are crops that are over 90% of them are genetically engineered. So it's hard to find those ingredients not to be engineered unless it specifically says non-GMO and that it doesn't come from non-GMO crops. So you can
Right.
find that by looking on the package of a product, and you'll see there's a non-GMO or non-GMO verified label. So if you're looking for products to not be genetically engineered, and for those listening, you might say, well, what's wrong with the GMO? Because there are a lot of pros and cons to GMOs and arguments that are out there.
Right.
For the sake of my position, it's been linked to several different issues like Alzheimer's and depression and gluten sensitivity and, different illnesses, and they just haven't been proven. And I think that's the key behind this. And if you want to learn more about GMOs, there are some huge activists on the market like Jeffrey Smith from Institute for Responsible Technology, or Lisa Stokey and Dave Murphy from Food Democracy Now. So these are organizations that if you want to learn more, you can go to their websites. It's fooddemocracynow.org and Institute for Responsible Technology.org.
Is it cheaper to sell? Is it more expensive to sell non-GMO products?
From the arguments from what I've read, I mean, not really. And I think that's the argument from the other side is that, it's going to, up your food bill. But from what I've understand and having done, a lot of work with Jeffrey and Lisa, they say it doesn't really increase our costs. So I think at the end of the day, it's you're paying for it now or you're paying for it later. And I think that we have to have that mindset. So because a lot of people will be like, well, it's really expensive. Yes, you're right. It absolutely is more expensive to live this lifestyle.
Right.
No question. But, I've heard quotes by, from several experts by saying, you're going to pay for it now a little bit more in your food, but you're going to pay less for it later on in your healthcare. Yeah. So it's going to come from somewhere. Wouldn't it rather come from prevention than being in the other side?
But it's so confounding to me that the government, we don't want the government involved in every part of our lives, but this feels like an area where the government should be involved.
So many politics, Larry. Honestly, it's such a political realm. I don't get involved so much in the politics side of it.
Yeah,
but having spent a lot of time with activists and hearing their side, there's a lot of politics.
I guess I don't understand it because I can't lie and say that I eat nothing but non-GMO because I don't. Sometimes some of the things I do eat are GMO or whatever. But the argument sometimes from people is sometimes the chemicals make things taste better because they enhance things or whatever, and I don't find that to be true. I mean, I find that
it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, well, if you allow your palate to learn,
exactly,
it does. Just like I for years, for my entire life, I never could consume anything with skim milk in it, and then in the last year, I've allowed myself to kind of first adapt to it, and now skim milk is all I ever want when I have dairy.
Dairy, yeah.
And I don't know. Just chemicals taste funny now.
And that's what happens is we could train our taste buds, right?
Yeah.
So when you're eating, gum, which has 3 different types of artificial sweeteners, they're really bad at changing our taste buds, artificial sweeteners, because they're so super sweet.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're 600,000 times sweeter than regular sugar. I mean, you're talking about an insane amount of sweetness. And when you're used to eating it, even myself, I mean, before I started living this lifestyle more than 15 years ago, I mean, I was an artificial sweetener junkie. It was the last thing I came off of because it's addictive as well, right? It
really is.
Like MSG, it's addictive. So you become used to these tastes. So for me to come off it, it was like weaning myself off a drug. It was the hardest thing I had to do. But once I did it, now, if I taste anything that has an artificial sweetener, I spit it out. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can actually taste it because I eat the real thing. You want real food.
It's so funny. It's so true, though.
Yeah.
It really is true. I used to hear people say that and think, yeah, right. But it's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true.
It is, and it's a matter of just eating whole foods, real foods. I mean, listen, we're going to eat packaged foods. I don't profess to be the person who's in the kitchen all the time cooking. I'm not. I use packaged foods. I go to the grocery store. What I do is I just look for products that have cleaner ingredients. I understand what you're reading. I mean, in some cases, it doesn't always hold true that, what you're reading, just because it sounds too long or funny that it's not clean. I mean, sometimes it's a vitamin. But for the most part, look for products that don't have high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
Like we know that leads to obesity and heart disease. We know that. It's in the research. They say that. Experts say that. We know that trans fats, hands down, there is no safe amount. Stay away from partially hydrogenated oils. Things that are like, hydrogenated oils. We don't want to be eating this because we know it causes cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. That's proven.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of staying away from these ingredients that we know. We call it the Scary 7. So if you go to Naturally Savvy or you Google Scary 7, they're all there. They're in our books we've written. Unjunk Your Junk Food has a list of them. Now we've actually just launched, which is really fun. We just launched a series of challenges in the fall, and we came out with 10 challenges. So now we kind of took it from education to integration. So how do we actually, now we know Naturally Savvy, you're always telling us that we should stay away from this and don't do this, but how do I really do it? It's so overwhelming. There's so much information on the internet. I don't even know where to start. Well, now we have a way for you to start. We break it down and we make it so simple for you. If you go to challenges.naturallysavvy.com, or if you go to naturallysavvy.com, there's a challenge icon at the top and navigation bar at the top. And basically you can choose from one of 7. We've got all the Scary 7 there. So if you want to know how to take out food coloring, let's say you're a mom and you've got kids, and we know food coloring has been linked to hyperactivity in children. So if you want to take away food coloring or you want to take away the chemical sweeteners from your diet, all you do is click on that challenge. You sign up for it. There's 3 videos. The first one, and it's all me. I'm in the video. I'm introducing you. The second one, I tell you why they're bad. And the third one, I provide you with healthier options. Really simple.
All right. Well, we're going to continue with Andrea Donsky here on The Jolt. Stick around. That is the Cosmic Dawn remix of Love Me Like You Do. Big hit by our friend Ellie Goulding. It is 22 past the hour on this Thursday morning, April 23rd. And you're listening to The Jolt on SiriusXM OutQ. Our toll-free number is 866-305-6887. If you have any questions about living a more natural, organic life, we are spending this hour with our beloved Andrea Donsky from naturallysavvy.com. And she always comes with tips and ideas. And so I'm going to turn over to you. What do you want to dig into, Miss Andrea?
Well, we talked about artificial sweeteners before the break, so I thought maybe it's a good idea to go over some natural alternatives to these artificial sweeteners that people might think, okay, well, if I can't add Splenda, or I can't add aspartame, or I can't add some of these, sweet and low to my coffee or tea or beverages, what can I do instead?
Right.
So one of the things that I really love, and I'm a huge fan of, is something called xylitol. Have you ever heard of xylitol?
I have heard of xylitol.
Do you guys use it? Have you tried it?
I don't tend to use sweeteners myself.
Okay.
Being diabetic, I kind of stay away from anything that might already heighten the sweetness because I'm trying to get used to not sweet.
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah, but I know people who use it, and I know they like it very much.
Yeah, and it had little effect on our blood sugar. So for diabetics, so like things like stevia have no effect on your blood sugar.
Right.
Very little effect. Xylitol, erythritol. So these are, if you ever did want to add something, these are safer.
And xylitol, I think, is one of the ingredients that the Glucerna company uses on a lot of their shakes and their snack bars. So.
It might be. It's a sugar alcohol, and because it has very little effect on the blood sugar, it's great for people with diabetes. So this is a xylitol plus. It's from Now Foods. They make a whole bunch of different products.
Oh, good.
And I love erythritol, and I love stevia is another one. Now you want to look for a brand of stevia that doesn't have a bitter aftertaste. So Now Food also makes a product called Better Stevia. So you can look for that, and it's little. It looks like those little pellets you add to your. Coffee.
Oh, I've seen these. These are cool.
They even have flavored stevia. Like you can get like a coconut flavored stevia if you wanted to, let's say, add to a water bottle, right? And they have
that's kind of good.
To sweeten your water.
To sweeten your water.
It's so funny because for me, it's like I'm like you. I had stopped doing this artificial sweeteners a few years ago when I went to see this nutritionist who was like, if you don't do anything else with me, you have to get off of the stuff.
I love her or him already.
Get off the stuff.
That's amazing.
Get off the sauce.
I like the idea of flavors though, because
yeah.
it could even and adding that to water would be really nice.
Well, because water is really
or you
tough.
could add it to your coffee.
You can add to your coffee, but water's tough to drink. So Now also has a product called Slender Sticks, and that's why I brought it. I wanted you guys to try it. It's basically sugar-free sticks that you add to your water. So this makes it taste great. So basically, it's sweetened with stevia. And they taste great. And what you could do is make a batch, keep it in your fridge, and then just drink it if you're craving something sweet, but it won't affect your blood sugar.
Nice.
So it's a really great option. And I happen to love it. Or, the other thing you can do too is you guys, and I don't know how much you make tea or like tea, but this is what I do. I make, because my kids love to drink sweet things, and I don't want to give them juice all the time, right? Because obviously, sometimes once in a while it's great. Like we work with Uncle Matt's Organic. They make a great orange juice or lemonade, organic orange juice or lemonade. And for breakfast, I love it. But I don't want them drinking juice all day long.
Right.
So what we do is we make a hibiscus tea. So this is Now's hibiscus organic tea. And what I do is I brew it, and then I add xylitol to it. And then I make an iced tea, and I throw it in the fridge. So then the kids can just drink that, and they love it. They don't really care what they're drinking. No, they don't care what they're drinking as long as it's something that tastes sweet.
So, you keep all of that stuff basically out of the house for them, so you can tell when they've gone out and come back and have had, sugar or some preservative or something. Does it, stick out really quickly?
It's a great question. I'm actually not as good with the sugar that I need to be. Actually, my husband and I were just saying that we want to do a sugar cleanse for our kids, because my kids definitely get too much sugar. But we do keep the additives out of the house, like the artificial colors. So I could tell, especially when my kids were younger, if they have artificial colors, it makes them crazy. We call it the crazies in our house. So within 10 minutes, literally they're bouncing off the walls. Now, not as much. They're a little bit older. But when they were younger, it was really tough. And we would really keep, so I keep all the scary stuff out of the house. I try to keep GMOs out of the house as much as I can. I mean, maybe a product or two might slip in. And I recently switched to organic meat, because even hormone or antibiotic free meat the animals are fed corn and soy that can have GMOs. So I switched to organic, and it's very expensive. There's no question. So what I did was we cut down on the amount of meat that we're eating. So instead of eating meat a lot, we cut down, but I'm buying better, organic meat instead.
Wow.
It's about decisions, and it's not for everybody, and I get that. It's just about making better decisions. Even if you cut out the artificial sweeteners, like your nutritionist said, you are making a huge difference, because now they know that artificial sweeteners are linked to obesity.
Wow.
Right? That's the newest research.
Yeah.
So it's basically cutting out these chemicals. And, for me, I never fall. I tried every diet out there. I remember when I was probably 35 pounds heavier than I am now. Yeah, I was definitely, growing up, I was heavier. But when I found organic and natural in this lifestyle, what I did was I cut out these chemicals, and I started eating better food, and it just kind of came off. Yes, I'll have a piece of organic dark chocolate. I do eat sweets, and sometimes more than I should. But at the end of the day, I limit. I watch what I eat. I don't even crave, those French fries, or I mean, once in a while, again, I'll do bake or French fries at home, but I don't crave that junk anymore.
So interesting. I mean, I will tell you that in the easiest part about the weight I've lost already is choosing to eat more just regular food, like my personal rule is if it doesn't eventually go bad.
That's a good rule because things can last for a couple of years on the shelf, and you're like, oh.
If it doesn't eventually, if it doesn't have a shelf life, a reasonably short shelf life, I try not to eat it now.
That's a great way to go. I love it. People will say, "Oh, I don't want to buy organic because it goes fast. It goes bad so quickly." Yes, that's what it's supposed to do because it doesn't have preservatives that prolong the shelf life for 3 years.
And it helps you lose weight because you can eat a load of, for example, like I eat a lot of vegetables, I eat a lot of salad, and I enjoy that, and I eat it guilt-free because natural healthy foods don't take up residence in your body. They just pass through your body.
Our organs were designed to, break down and digest real whole foods.
Yeah.
And when it contains these chemicals that our bodies are being, our livers are like, whoa, what's that? I mean,
so if you eat, because I have a big appetite. So if I like, and I like to eat a lot, and that's not going to change at this stage of my life. And I'm not trying to make it change.
No, but load up on good stuff.
So I eat a lot, and then when you eat a lot of natural stuff, and then you add exercise, the food that's already going to move through you is going to move through you, and it's going to burn the excess.
Exactly.
So it's really not complicated. It's
common sense, right?
Letting go of the chemicals.
Letting go of the chemicals.
Which is not always easy. Let's be honest. No. It's not always easy.
It's not. 100% it's not.
But, I do the best you can.
That's right. And again, like even if you're taking one out and you start slowly, and again, you're going to start seeing the difference. You're going to start feeling the difference. So I think that's when your body's going to be like, wait a second.
Well, the difference becomes addictive, right? Whether it be because you feel like your body is, parts of your body are contracting that you were hoping would, or you just, you may wake up a little bit sleepy, but you snap out of that sleepiness a little bit quicker because you're healthier.
Well, that's it. And our bodies start to crave the vitamins and the minerals. Like I recently started drinking cold pressed juices. And for me, in the morning, I love to have a cold pressed juice. And then
what's a cold pressed juice?
So a cold pressed juice is basically the way that they're pressing the juice. So there's no heat used in the process. So there are these two plates, I guess, for simplicity, and they press the juice together so they extract more vitamins and minerals and more juice from the fruits and vegetables. So you can get them. I mean, I just bought one yesterday. I was at Whole Foods. I bought a brand that contained lemon and ginger and cayenne pepper. It was really good, actually. And I also do some greens. So obviously in the morning you want to drink your green juice. And basically it has a lot of fruits, a lot of vitamins and minerals. So your body starts to crave it. And then you want that in the morning. You're like, whoa, I need my, it's like instead of having my coffee, I'm like, I need my cold pressed juice. Because you're feeding your body what it needs.
Very interesting. So what else did you bring?
So some other products. So one of the things, have you ever tried avocado oil? Have either of you ever tried it?
No, I keep hearing about avocado oil.
So avocado oil is really great for heart health. And it's like a monounsaturated. It's kind of like olive oil, right? Similar. So you can add it to your salads. But the great thing about avocado oil is that you can cook it at a high heat. So you don't want to ever cook with olive oil because over a certain heat, it can go bad. So you want to use avocado oil instead. And it's great for, now they're doing research on heart disease. So it's a really great oil to cook with. Same with coconut oil, right? So an avocado oil, and there aren't that many brands on the market, but Ellendale is one brand of avocado oil that I've tried, and it's delicious and it's organic. It's great. And there's coconut infusions, also by Ellendale, and this is coconut oil. So again, I've talked about coconut oil on this show, and I'm a huge fan of coconut oil, especially when it comes to heart health. Like, it is so important.
It's good for your heart, and it breaks down fat, doesn't it?
It boosts your metabolism, so it actually helps you to lose some weight, which is great. So it's a thermogenic. It's called a thermogenic. It's also great to decrease your bad cholesterol. I mean, it has so many properties. Now they're studying it for Alzheimer's and brain health. So it has so many great properties. And Ellendale just came out with an infusion. It's a butter tasting coconut oil. So it actually tastes like butter, which I thought was interesting. I love the taste of coconut oil, but not everybody does.
Okay.
Barleans just launched a tasteless coconut oil. So if you don't like the taste of coconut oil, you can take Barleans coconut oil, and they have one that I don't remember the exact name of it, but it has no taste.
Huh.
So I thought that was pretty interesting that they have no, because a lot of people don't like coconut. I love it. I use it for everything.
I do too, but it's funny because I like coconut oil. I've been using it because you brought some before, and I liked it so much I continued to buy it. But But I don't like coconut water. I love coconut, but for some reason coconut water doesn't go right with me.
Yeah. So I mean, the oil to me, I mean, I live on the oil. Like I put it in my smoothies. I cook my eggs with it. I do everything. I bake with it. So I just happen to really love it. But yeah, so if you don't love it, but you still want to get the benefits of the oil.
So when you put it in a smoothie, do you like because I'm beginning to juice? So you just take a spoonful of
tablespoon. Exactly. Because I can get it in other ways, but if I can't get it in that day, I'll throw it into a smoothie. And and I'll use a good quality organic coconut oil. I use Barleans, and now Ellendale came out with this. I wouldn't put this into my smoothie because it's flavored. It has a garlic one and a butter one, but you can put it on your toast, or you can cook with it, which is amazing.
Oh, nice.
And then of course you want to have your, again for heart health, you want to have your good omega-3 fats. Or fish oil. I brought fish oil here before. And there's companies like Barleans as well, and Nordic and Carlson. The cool thing about Barleans is they have a swirl. This is a pina colada swirl, so it doesn't taste like fish oil. Because some people might be going, ugh, fish oil, yuck. I don't like the taste.
I've had that before. I think you brought that. Let me see.
I might have brought it before. It's yummy.
Know, but this is looks very familiar.
So it tastes like pina colada, and they have different flavors, like a mango peach.
This is lovely.
Such a great product. It's a great way to get it in. So that's Barleans. And then Nordic Naturals has also a whole line of fish oil as well. They even have a vegan one, and Barleans has a flax oil, but Nordic has a vegan one as well. So if you don't do fish,
so would you do because this says 2 teaspoons a day? So would you put if you were like thinking I'm not going to get it all into my food, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of this, 1 teaspoon of the coconut oil. Would you put it in the same smoothie? I'd
actually, for the Barleans, I'd eat it from the spoon. Like my kids literally turn their head upside down and pour it in their mouth. Yeah, it's that delicious. It tastes like a swirl. Yeah. For Nordic, they have the liquid and they have the capsules. So if you don't want a taste of the actual fish, you can take the capsules. They even have it for kids. They've got an amazing strawberry one for kids. My kids love it.
Wow.
And then Carlson also they have a bubblegum flavor. They have a lemon flavor. Like they have an orange flavor, I think. So they have different flavors. So you can put the oil. It's sweetened with xylitol.
Oh, okay.
You could put the oil into your smoothie. Again, so this, if you don't want a taste of it, you can throw that into the smoothie. Like here, for example, Nordic.
Now if someone's listening to us and they're thinking, okay, I would like to try like a Barleans product. Barleans is in Whole Foods, right?
Barleans is in Whole Foods, and now from what I understand, they are going to be in the mass market as well.
Okay, good.
Yep, they're going to be. You're going to be able to find them everywhere very shortly.
Very nice.
And
very nice.
So a lot of these companies, like we've talked about earlier, are starting to hit mainstream. And they're not only found in the health food stores. I mean, a lot of them originate in the health food stores, which thank goodness for the health food stores, the natural product stores.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are now going to mass market like Target or Walmart, and you could find them, Safeway and different retailers. Walgreens. I guess, I heard Walgreens has a really great organic section.
Does it really?
So
I can't remember the last time I was in a Walgreens.
Yeah, so
go
I heard
figure.
So I mean, definitely some great products out there, and especially if you're looking for heart healthy products that can
which I'm looking for.
So I brought them for you.
We're going to continue with Miss Andrea Donsky here on The Jolt. That is a new single by Aiden Leslie. It's good, right? It's called I Just Go. It is 14 minutes before the hour on this Thursday morning, April 23rd. I'm Larry Flick, and this is The Jolt on SiriusXM OutQ. Want to make a note to you that we're going to have a very, very busy Friday morning. It's going to be good, too. Going to be joined by Kumail Nanjiani from Silicon Valley, the HBO show. So good. Blake Lively will be here to talk about her new movie, The Age of Adeline. And actually, you sat down with her a couple days ago. We had a wonderful chat. You're going to really, really like her a lot. Suzanne Summers will be here, and so will Lori Loughlin. Little retro TV vibrations, and we'll get deep and down in the club world with Hex Hector, who's going to be featured on our Legends of Clubland show this weekend. So lots and lots of good stuff going on. Of course, it's Old School Friday, so we'll have lots of disco, too. We're spending this hour with Andrea Donsky. She is a longtime member of the Jolt family, and she is an advocate, activist, and all-around smart gal for the natural, organic world of products, whether it be food, supplements, products of various sorts. And she's been talking with us about, and she often talks with us about substituting. See, I think the biggest misnomer, and I feel like it's always necessary to get into this for at least 1 or 2 minutes whenever you're here, that the idea is not to go and graze in someone's garden in order to be healthier. That you can have, your favorite lemonade, you can just have it in a natural and organic fashion.
Right.
You can have a
Exactly.
cookie and you could have it in an organic fashion, and it tastes just as good. You could have your bowl of Cheerios. It's just going to have a different brand name on the box.
Right, and again, it just because it's organic doesn't mean it has no sugar or that it's
Right.
but it's definitely, it won't have the chemical additives.
It's not
it won't have the
diet
pesticides.
food.
It's not diet food in a lot of cases, but it's still the healthier option. So again, we're human. We're going to want some of our junk food, and just make the better option.
Right,
And
right.
and a lot of times you'll have to eat less of it because you won't. They satiate you a lot quicker.
And actually, we should do a call back to the Unjunk Your Junk Food book.
Unjunk your junk food, yeah.
Which is a great book. I use it all the time,
Thank
it's
you.
very, very helpful. And it's the kind of book you can tuck in your purse if you're a lady, or if you just like to carry a purse, Keith, or it fits in your hip pocket when you go shopping.
Yeah, no, it's a great book, and you're right. It's all about the alternatives. So, and I'm a huge fan of alternatives. I know we have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
And I'd love to just kind of tell you some other alternatives.
Tell us some
that
other
I love.
alternatives.
For example, we work with a company called Melt Organic, and instead of using margarine, which can contain trans fats, Melt Organic does and literally tastes like margarine. It looks like margarine, and it's organic, but it won't have any trans fats. So it's such a great option.
Great
Alternative. There are, for me, if you're looking for a cracker that doesn't have, because some brands, I'm not going to mention any names, contain trans fats or MSG to make them taste better. So, for example, Blue Diamond Nut Thins doesn't have any of that, and it's gluten-free. So,
I buy those all the time.
Good.
So if you want a gluten-free cracker, they are delicious.
Yeah, I buy those all the time.
That's
They're
a great
good.
option. Now, candy. We talked about food coloring before.
Yeah.
Food coloring has been linked to hyperactivity in children. Also allergies, nasal congestion in adults and kids as well. And Surf Sweets, they're a company out of Chicago. They make natural organic candies for kids and adults, for the big kids too. And it's sweetened with fruits and vegetables, and it's colored with fruits and vegetables. So it's a really great company. They have jelly beans. They have gummy bears. They have, now a Tootsie Roll alternative.
Oh, my goodness.
Which I thought was really interesting. It's really yummy. I brought you guys a sample to try.
Oh, nice.
Really yummy. And Sanjay, they do tamari. They do gluten-free tamari that's organic, so non-GMO tamari. So I'm gluten-free myself, so I always like gluten-free products, and they don't have any MSG because a lot of soy sauce can contain MSG. They are MSG-free, so
Nice.
a great option. So Sanjay, and they have little
Lovely.
packets you could take with you when you're going to eat sushi. That's what I do. I put it in my purse and I take it with me when I'm going to the restaurant. It's awesome.
Not bad. Always good.
And we work with Bigelow too. Bigelow Tea. They're just in Connecticut. Really
I like
close by.
Bigelow.
Yeah.
Really great company, great products, and they have their regular line, and they also their Constant Comment, which I know they're very well known for. They've got their green tea, and they also have an organic line as well. And they sent you guys some black tea and honey. American Breakfast, a new product that they just came out with. Yeah, so again, you can make it. You do iced tea or drink it hot, but you can do your iced tea, add your xylitol, and then you've got a great beverage that
There
you can
you
just reach
go.
to and kind of reach for when you're thirsty.
Lovely.
We're just getting out of winter. Well, I'm kind of hoping soon at some point getting out of winter. But oregano oil is great if everybody gets a cold or you're feeling under the weather. North American Urban Spice makes oregano oil, oreganol. You can just throw some under your tongue and it'll keep you healthy. Great for kids. Throw it a couple of drops on their feet. Rub it into their feet and put some socks on after. So really great. Yeah, it's antiviral, antibacterial. It's such a great go-to product, especially if you feel it coming on. Just do some oregano under your tongue. Now it's strong, so you want to kind of shoot it back with some juice or something or water. But it works really, really well. So it's a great product. Neocell does collagen. Neocell is an interesting company because I've just started to learn about collagen, and collagen is so important for our skin, and it's a protein in our body, and we need collagen, and it's important to start taking it, from early on. So Neocell they have this biotin burst. Again, we brought you guys some products, some samples to try.
Yum.
But the good thing about it, yes, for vanity, it looks great. It helps with wrinkles in the skin. But the truth is, it's also helping with our bones.
Yeah, which is so important.
Right? So it's helping us inside and out. So that's why I really love. They've got a whole line of products, of collagen products, which I really love. And Happy Baby, they are based in New York. I actually was with them yesterday, and they're a company. They make baby food, organic baby food for kids, toddlers. They have a nutrition shake, and they just launched Love My Veggies, which has banana, beet, squash, and blueberry. And I've tried them. They're really yummy. I'll give some for you guys too. I call it for the big kids, like throw it in my lunch. And, or if you're hungry, right, you're on the go, but it really is for kids, but some big kids can try it too. And it's all organic. And Shazi, the woman who created the company, is very, very passionate about helping kids. And I think it's such a great company. And it's local. So I just wanted to leave them for last and let people know that it is a local company. You can look for it in the stores.
Well, hooray!
Nice.
And you know what? I have to say, because you can't see any of this. Nice packaging.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm saying thank you. It's not my packaging.
Well, but you know,
thank you from all of the companies.
when Andrea first started coming to see us, like many years ago, it was a lot of brown boxes.
No, it's totally
It was bright.
A lot of gray.
It has changed tremendously.
It has changed dramatically. It's actually very, very pretty packaging. Almost all these packages will make you, because I don't know, I like looking at nice things on my shelf at home. They look nice on a shelf.
They're really, beautiful.
They're
and
engaging.
Engaging, bright colors. I mean, the industry's really changed. Like we touched on it, that things are changing because it's going mainstream.
Yeah.
And a lot of the companies are found in the natural product stores, but they are also found at, regular grocery stores. And there's competition out there. So they need to look pretty on shelf.
You need to
right?
jump off the shelf.
You need to jump off the shelf.
You do. It's unfortunate that that's how it works, but because people should be reading instead of looking. But let's be honest.
We're
They're
busy.
not.
Yeah, people are busy. And
They're not. And also, kids play a big role in all of this, in that, they will say, "Mommy, that looks ugly. That doesn't look like it's going to taste good."
Right, and we eat with our eyes, and that's why when it comes to candy, which is such a big thing, that companies use these bright colored neon colors because we think if it looks good, it's going to taste good too.
Yeah.
And I always have it's a great story. My now she's 4, my little one Abby, when she was probably around 2, she had never been exposed to artificial colors. Like I never gave it to her. I mean, maybe one of my older 2s might have slipped it to her, but if they did, I don't know about it. And for what I know, she never tried artificial colors. And we went to go get some ice cream, and you know how they have all the toppings displayed always in the ice cream store? So there were there was like the regular chocolate and the brown toppings, and they've got the brownies and all the chocolate chips, but they also had all the colorful ones, right? All the candies. And my daughter walked in. I swear it was such an interesting experiment for me because I'd never seen it firsthand. I mean, I researched it, I talked about it, but she literally started going crazy and tantruming because she wanted the toppings that were bright colored. And I kind of thought to myself going, well, what about the chocolate? Nope. It was like from the gummy bears to the jelly beans to the bright colored sprinkles. She wanted the bright colors. And then in that moment, I was like, I get it now. I get it why the companies are using these bright colored products, right? Like these, the food coloring, because that's what kids want.
They look pretty.
They look pretty and they think it's going to taste great. But the good news is a lot of these companies have started to remove them. Like Kraft just announced they're going to be removing the artificial colors from their mac and cheese.
Right.
And Nestle just announced that they're removing ingredients, these certain chemical additives from their products as well. So companies are changing and they're listening. So that's what I think is also why people are getting more engaged now, is because companies are starting to listen and they're starting to remove these ingredients.
Well, Andrea Donsky, the time flies when you're here. It's so good to see you. You can learn more about what Andrea is up to by going to naturallysavvy.com, and she has a radio show. Why don't you tell everybody when they can hear you?
Yeah, we're on radiomd.com every Wednesday live from noon to 1 o'clock. So yes, please, we talk about healthy living.
Make sure you check it out, and thank you all for visiting with us today. Have an awesome Thursday. We'll see you first thing tomorrow.